All right, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of Masharah Yasharallah. Peace and salutations to the Shatarium from the Masharah Yasharallah Council. Salute to you, brothers. Also, salute to you, brothers who go out into the highways and byways and try and wake up the elect of Israel. All right. So we can get the hell out of this captivity, man. All right. Want to give a shout out to the brothers in No Cap, Nations of Kings and Priests, my brothers, my family. Shalom to y'all, brothers. Shalom, shalom. Tazadat, Gabar, shalom. Want to also give a shout out to you sisters as well, who are enduring, sisters who are holding down the household. All right. Sisters who are patiently waiting and getting counsel for marriage, man, and doing it for the right reasons, man. So salute to you sisters as well. All right. So you see the title? I mean, it is what it is. We going into regeneration. All right. We're going to grab an understanding of regeneration. We're going to go into a little bit of the scriptures that, we regularly go into. However, we're going to give it a slight little twist with some deeper understanding, because obviously, we have false prophets out there who teach against regeneration. And, when it comes to Israel, you'll notice that a lot of these self-proclaimed teachers and or elders who have no fruit come out with these doctrines, right? And they'll say 1,000 scriptures, but with no understanding, right? And we're gonna go ahead and go into that a little bit. Quran, Shalom King, Shalom, Shalom, Yahweh Shema Shabarakatah. So, Israel, y'all gotta be careful, man. A lot of these self-proclaimed teachers and or quote unquote elders are gonna, it seems like that's the new fashion, A lot of them proclaim to be elders and teachers and have no fruit, So, just be careful with who you learning from, man. Make sure that the brother is has some good fruit, all right, and has a good name in Israel. So with that being said, regeneration, man. If y'all don't know what regeneration is, let me give you a slight understanding of it. Regeneration, what it is a regenerating a spirit that comes back into the earth. Okay, it is biblical. And we're going to grab not only examples, but also get a deep understanding of it. Y'all got to understand it's not, when we pick up this book, right, we know that religion tainted the truth. So it kept us blind. So they took a lot of what was in the book and made it religion. So we look at religions like Hinduism and some of the Eastern the Eastern religions that practice quote unquote reincarnation, right? Or study reincarnation. Well, reincarnation in its own self was, understood according to the Bible. Now, reincarnation, not in the sense of us coming back as an animal. The spirit remains. All right. So now let's understand words, right? Because again, some bucktooth old elder may tell you, well, regeneration this, regeneration that. Well, let's see what regeneration actually is in definition. Okay. So now y'all can see my screen. All right. So now regeneration. Regeneration. All right. An act or process of regenerating. Okay. The state of being regenerated. Okay. Example number 2. Spiritual renewal or reveal, right? Why? Because as we understand it, the biblical regeneration is the regenerating of the spirit. The spirit remains. We have to understand when we look at the Bible, we know that the only nation that will be destroyed is the nation of Edom. So how is the rest of the nations going to populate the earth, right? How are they going to come back? Is it just pop up and they never come back? They stay in limbo somewhere? That is a Catholicism theology that has been passed down through and ultimately through the Christian church. Okay. And then you have your heaven, then you have your hell, where you have a guy, dressed in horns with a pitchfork, and he's poking you with a pitchfork in hell. You might as well teach that if you ain't teaching regeneration. Put it through like that. Okay. So now, with regeneration, let's see what generation stands for, right? Right. Y'all see my screen? All right. So now watch this. This is generation, right? So now, what is the definition of generation? Don't let anybody tell you what a generation is, regeneration is. Go into the Bible, man. I mean, go into the Bible, go into definition of words, man. Don't let anybody try and convince you what words are. Go into it yourself. Study to show thyself approved, right? So now, generation. It says all of the people born and living at about the same time, regarded collectively, right? Now, I'm going to go a little bit further here. Generation, right? It says a generation is all of the people born and living about the same time. Regarded collectively, it can also be described as the average period. Now, here's the point. Generally considered to be about 20 to 30 years. Remember, generation is 20 to 30 years, Khan, during which the children are born and grow up, becoming adults and begin to have children, right? That's what a generation is, right? These are definitions, right? So now, the Most High God Yahweh, all right, defines the generation according to the Bible. So now when we look at regeneration, right, a regeneration is renewing or reliving that regeneration, or selecting that generation, which are what? The collective people within that a period of time, which, what did it say? 20 to 30 years. These are not my words. This is what we pulled up. Again, you go into the words. Don't just blast it out, all right? So now, the Most High God Yahweh, right? He gives us examples of this in the scriptures, all right? So now, first scripture we're going to go to is Numbers, man. So just so we have a quick understanding of what generation is, and what I just read is going to be backed up by the Bible. All right. Y'all got to stop leaning on your own understanding. Stop going into different book that contradicts the Bible and actually go into something that backs up the Bible. That's the spirit. All right. So now watch this. We're going to go into Numbers. Right. All right. Numbers 14. Now, if y'all never read Numbers 14 before, it is a powerful chapter. It discusses the children of Israel being destroyed by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right. Why? Because we rebelled against Moses. So watch this. So I'm gonna start out verse 1, right? And it reads, and all this is Numbers chapter 14 and verse 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept at night. And the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in the wilderness? Right? Complaining like always. Right? And wherefore hath God brought us out in this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return to Egypt? So once again, complaining, right, that we should have been in Egypt. So what does the Most High God Yahweh does? Let's drop down. I think it's 26. Yeah, this is verse 26. So drop down to 26. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moshe and said unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which murmur against me, saying unto them, as I truly live, saith the Lord, as he have spoken in mine ears, will I do to you. Your carcasses, here's the point, your carcasses shall fall in the wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to the whole number, from 20 years old and upwards, which have murmured against me. So see that? This is him saying he can't bear us anymore. And then what is he doing? He's killing that congregation. And he's killing what? That generation. And what do we say a generation is? Between 20 to 30 years. So again, a regeneration is the coming back of that generation. It comes back, the spirits go back to the Most High God for a certain period of time, and then comes back into the earth. And we're going to prove that according to scriptures. But as you can see here, a generation backed up what we read earlier, that a generation is what? 20 to 30 years. Khan? All right. Well, as I posted this subject about a week ago, and there was a lot of Christians, minded Israelites trying to say, no way, read the word. Yeah, exactly, man. Well, you know what? Sometimes it ain't for them to see, and it's too spiritual for them, unfortunately. But, through the power and the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we can wake up the hopeful elect who it's for them, so they could get us the hell out of this captivity, man, straight the hell up. So Yahweh willing, man, So from there, let's go to Psalms, right? Psalms 104 and 29. All right. This is Psalms 104 and verse 29. And it reads, thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. They takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. Why? Because our bodies are flesh. Our bodies were made by the dust. So then it shall do what? Return to their dust. Right? Verse 30. Thou sendest forth thy spirit. They are created. And thou renewest the face of the earth. You see that? Why? Because he's constantly being flowing, that regenerating and of the generations to come into the earth. It is a very uh it is a very godlike process. That's what he does. He sends it back into the earth. Remember, he created everything for what? 7 days. So like it, 6. And he showed us that even in those 6 days, everything is going to come back and be regenerated again. Right? Verse 32, he looked upon the earth and it trembleth. He touches the hills and they smoke. I will swing unto the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have my being. Con? So now, saying the same thing, let's go to Ecclesiastes, right? We're going to start at verse, this is Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 3. Again, generation is what? 20 to 30 years. Con? As that generation goes, one comes back. Why? Because scripture tells us so. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 4. One generation passes away and another cometh. Right? Like we said, like we read in Psalms, it reneweth the earth. It returned to the dust and it renews again. Right? But the earth abideth forever. Why? How is the earth renewed? Is it a new earth popping up? Or is it everything that's being born within the earth, the spirit comes back to that earth or to the earth to be renewed again? That's what that means. There goes your precept to Psalms 104, 29 and verse 30. Right? I'm going to continue. One generation passes away and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. Verse 5, the sun also ariseth and the sun goeth down and hastened to his place where he arose. It's giving you a spiritual aspect of looking into nature and looking at the ordinances of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and considering that with flesh, with spirit. Okay? The sun arises and the sun goeth down, and it hastened to his place where he arose. Where did man come from? From the dust of the ground. Con? Verse 6. The wind goeth toward the south and turneth about into the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. Here it comes, verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Now remember that, okay? And the sea is not full. Unto the place where hence the rivers come, whether they return again. Con? We'll jump up to verse 9. The thing that hath been, it as that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. The Most High God Yahweh created everything, and well, you got to think about it this way. He created everything in 6 days, but 1,000 years, a period of time to him is like 1,000 years to us. Okay? It's a day to him. He created everything already. But now, like it says here, one generation passes, one comes back. Okay? Watch this. This is 2nd Ezra. Go to second Ezra. Let's go to second Ezra, chapter 5, I believe. Yeah. 5. Yeah. Ezra 5 and 41. We're going to start. All right. All right. This is second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 41. And it reads, "And I said, Behold, O Lord, yet thou art nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. And what shall they that do have been before me? Or we that be now, or they that shall come after us," saying what? Him understanding that he's holding people there, and there's people that's coming behind him, and there's also people that are there right now. What is Ezra saying? He's saying the generation that's here today, the generation that's waiting to come, and the generation that has already passed. That's what Ezra is saying here. Okay. Verse 42. "And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring." What is a ring? A ring is it's a circle. Okay. It's a circle. Like we read in Ecclesiastes, the wind cometh, the water floweth. It's a circle, right? The waters don't overflow. The wind goes back to its place. The sun returns to his place and comes up again. Okay. "And he said unto me, I liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So I answered and said, Couldest thou not make those that have been made and be now?" What is he asking? He says, you already made them. Telling you what? Saying is the exact same thing that I told you earlier, that the Most High God, Yahweh, created everything already. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai created everything already. Why did he create it? So how does Ezra know that a generation was already created? Because it's waiting to come back, right? "Couldest thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner?" Meaning, you could have just put everybody that you created, all the generations, at one, so we could be judged. And where are we judged? According to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, we're judged under the sun, which is where? On the dirt. Right here. Right? Verse 44. Here's the point. "Then answered he me and said, The creature may not haste before the maker. Right? Neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein." So hold on a second. So if something exists, how can it be created? Right? That's a very logical question. If something exists, how can it be created? Because the actual, the actual topic here is the souls that were created, huh? So if the soul was created already, how can it be created therein? It be created therein because it's going to be created on earth. Again, renewed, and in what? Regenerating back into the earth. How do we know that? Because he will judge the generations. Let's get it. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. A lot of y'all like to twist these scriptures, man. Y'all might as well just go back into the Christian church. I know some of y'all in the clubs are wearing Jesus pieces, man. You know? So this is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, neither serve them, for I am Yahweh, your power. I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities, here's the point, of the fathers, of the children's, unto the third and fourth generations of them that hate me. You see that? Why is he judging generations, multiple generations, is if there's only one generation? Makes no sense. So again, there's multiple generations that come into the cycle of the flow of life and be regenerated back into the earth. Con? So now, let's go back to Ecclesiastes in the Bible. All right, Ecclesiastes, we're going to go to chapter 6, verse 10. Right? That which has been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he be content of him that is mightier than he. Like we were saying before, right? Like Ezra was talking to the spirit saying, when are these spirits coming back? So he says here, that which is named already and known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he, right? It's the same response that Ezra got, okay? So now, from there, let's go to John 9. Because our people knew about the regeneration. How are you going to not know? How are you going to ask something, right, and not know about it, right? So our people understood regeneration, all right? So, all right, done. So now, this is John chapter 9, verse 1, all right? And Yahweh Shai Mashiach passed by and saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? So now, wait a second. How is it that they could ask a question like this? If he was born blind, where is the sin? He's paying for a sin that he did while he was blind, or it was going to be a future sin. Doesn't make any sense. What does make sense is that his spirit was here before, and you look at verses like Ecclesiastes chapter 1, 6 and 10, right? You look at 2nd Ezra, you look at Exodus 20 and verse 5, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, what does the generations, and that generations will be regenerated, right? That makes sense, right? So Yahweh Shai Mashiach said, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Yahweh should be made manifest in him. That was the point of him being blind. However, them understanding and them with the spirit said, hold on a second, did he sin or in another life, right? He had to have sinned in another life, or his parents, right? So now from there, let's go back to 2nd Ezra. All right. Right. We 2nd Ezra chapter 2. Like it. Chapter 2 and verse 16. Now here's the point, right? So this is Second Ezra chapter 2 and verse 16. And those that be dead will arise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves, for I have known my name Israel. Now, this does not only go into Israel, all the other spirits as well, including those evil spirits, will be here as well. Here, let me prove it to you. So, in other words, regeneration, it's not only for Israel. It also, other spirits also are regenerated as well. Other nations, I should say, also regenerate as well. Watch this, Revelation, right? Actually, there's a couple scriptures in Revelation I'm going to grab. So this is 1 in verse 7, right? This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. He says, Behold, I cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. Who's he talking about? Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? Who you ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Now here's the point. And they also which pierced him. Now, mind you, this is his second coming. They which pierced him and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. How is it that you have the second coming of a Mashiach, and then now those who pierced him thousands of years later are going to see him again? If regeneration was not true, how come they are seeing him again? Of course, you would have to lie and say, well, that's probably someone else. This is so specific. You could say it's their nation. You could say it's the Roman, but you're still going through a box. Because again, we knew about regeneration, right? Here's another one. So this is Revelation verse 10. And we're going to go to verse 9. Chapter 10 and verse 9. Now this is the angel speaking unto John. And it says, And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. The little book he's talking about is the Bible. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but thy mouth sweet as honey. Here's the point. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Here it is. Verse 11. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. If y'all don't know the history about this, this is John and Pathros, right? And he's in prison. He did not, after he wrote this, he did not prophesy to many people and many nations and many tongues and many kings. After this vision, it was pretty much a wrap. Okay? However, what does make sense here is him regenerating back into this prophet regenerating back, coming back like it says in the scriptures, and coming back as a prophet that he is, and prophesying this again, right? So now, with that being said, 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 32. Watch this to back that up. So I got 32. right? And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, right? That's how you know, right? That's how you know. So you know that the prophet shall come back because his spirit is subject to the prophet. So John is here today, somewhere, prophesying like the angel told him. John is here today because that only makes sense according to scripture. All right. No getting around that. All right. So now let's deal with John. All right, because that's, you know, I keep hearing that he's not he's the spirit of Elijah, not Elijah himself. Okay, fine. Let's grab that. Well, you know what? First, let's grab the prophecy. Huh? I think that'll be better. That's Malachi chapter 4. Done. So now this is the prophecy. So we're going to grab the prophecy first, so we have an understanding here. Okay. So now this is the book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 5. It says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." Now this is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai talking in prophecy to Malachi, right? And he's saying that Elijah will come back. Okay? He will come back. Again, the spirit goes back to the Father and comes back into the earth. He judges the generations, all right? And generations are what? 20 to 30 years. We prove that in definition, and we prove that in scripture, okay? So now, the regeneration is the reliving and the reincarnation. Reincarnation only means reincarn, like to come back in flesh again. That's what reincarnation means. Again, they grab this information from us. All right. So now this is Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5. "Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." So now, with that, and I believe it's Luke 1 and 17, I believe, that people get hung up on. Yeah, con. So this is Zacharias, you know, obviously being in the spirit, you know, that he knows his son is going to be Elijah. But it gets misconstrued when you don't believe in regeneration. So watch this. This is Luke chapter 1 and verse 17. "And he shall go before him in the spirit and the power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers of the children and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord." So that is the point of him preparing the way for the Lord, so that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai can teach us how to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and repent truthfully and have grace and mercy, so that the Father can accept us again. So now Elijah, when it says in the spirit, because his spirit is the same. It's the same spirit. Y'all are getting the carnal part, or the carnal part, mixed up. The flesh dies, but the spirit remains. Why? Let's get it. So Matthew 11. I don't know about y'all, but if Yahweh Shai Mashiach says something, that's what it is, right? This is Matthew chapter 11 and verse 12, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to start at verse 11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not one risen greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding, he is least in the kingdom of heaven, is greater than he. Verse 12, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violence be taken by force. For all the prophets of the law prophesied of John, right? And ye shall receive it. Here's the point. This is Elijah, which was to come. And then he says it again. He that heareth, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Meaning, if you're going to understand it, you're going to understand it. If not, it ain't for you to see. Right? He didn't say he was the spirit of Elijah. He said he is Elijah. Okay? So there's no, well, maybe it's a spirit. Look, man, it is him. It is Elijah, the prophet, the spirit of Elijah that came back into John. Okay? So that's all I got. Like I said, it was going to be short, but I just wanted to reach some points. There's much more I can go into, but I'm going to save that for another time. You got any precepts, Hakim, y'all want to bring out? Watch this. Let me go to Ecclesiastes. Hold on. While you're looking for that precept, so Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 11 says, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall be any remembrance of the things that are to come with those that shall come after. Y'all see that? We're basically saying that those that come after are not going to have a remembrance of those things. Right? So no, John didn't know that he was Elijah. He just knew what he had to do. Right? Oh, let me bring out Maccabees, man. Watch this. Where you at? First, yeah. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this preset. So this is First Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 22. So now, if y'all haven't read this chapter is with the woman with the 7 sons, right? But there's something that she said, right? Watch this. This is verse. I'm gonna start at verse 20. It says, "Then committed he the country of Aclimus, and left with him a power to aid him. So the Bacchides went to the king, but Amalekius contended for the high priesthood." Verse 22. "And unto him restored all such as troubled the people, who after they had gotten the land of Judah into power, they much hurt Israel." Oh, so this is not. Is this 7? Salakia. Second Maccabees.
Yeah, I was just about to say second.
Salakia. Oh yeah, this is like a second mechanism. Yeah, she exalted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, verse 22, I cannot tell you how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. Talking about her sons, Khan. This is verse 23. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, with also his own mercy, give you breath of life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his laws. So her understanding that her sons were going to die, but they were going to get breath again. Right? How does she know that? Because she understood regeneration. Right? You know who else knew regeneration? Job. Job 14.
So, like, yeah, I found the precept.
Go ahead,
Matthew 19 and start at 27. Then
Matthew 19 and 27. Yeah, Con.
Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye all shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So we drop everything that we have and follow Hamashiach, and in the time of regeneration, gonna receive that crown of glory, man, and be a judge. So
Regeneration.
that's the key word right there, regeneration.
Regeneration.
Like, it's all throughout the scriptures, man.
Yeah, you can't deny it, man. So watch this. This is Job 14. This is the cold precept right here. Right. So he basically, I'm gonna start at verse 1, but then I'm gonna jump a little bit of the verses. But this is Job 14, verse 1. Man that is born of a woman is a few of days and full of trouble. So now he's talking about basically life and death here. Okay. He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down, and fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. So a lot of brothers like to stop there and say, you see, that means that he ain't again. Your flesh is not again. That's why we get spiritual bodies, because spiritual bodies last forever. But what's in those spiritual bodies? It's the spirit, man. It can't be a spiritual body without the spirit. The spiritual body without the spirit don't make no sense, right? A lot of y'all get that confused, man. All right. So now watch this. Verse. That's what I want. Cut down 10 there. I'm gonna start at verse 10. Okay, but man dieth and wasteth away. Yea, man giveth up the ghost, and where is he? So now this is what it says. It says, man giveth up the ghost, where is he? Right? Verse 11. As the waters fail from the sea, and the flood decay and drieth up, so man lieth down and riseth not. This is the perfect scripture for them to grab when you isolate it. You got to keep reading. Till the heavens be no more, they shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldest appoint me a set time. You see that? And remember me. Like we read earlier, one cometh, one comes back, one leaves, one comes back again. Here it comes. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Here it comes. Thou shalt call. Who is he talking to? He's talking to Yahweh. Thou shalt call. What does he call him? The Spirit. And I will answer thee. Thou wilt have a desire to the work of thine hands. Meaning we're all at the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Whatever his will is, we are his servants, right? If he calls us, we're there. If not, then we wait. Verse 16, for now thou numberest my steps, dost thou not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and thou sowest my iniquity. And surely the mountain falleth and cometh not. The rock, here's the point, the rock is removed out of its place, and the waters wear the stones. Thou washest away the things which thou grow out of the dust of the earth, and thou destroyeth the hope of man. Here it is. Thou prevailest forever against him. He passes, thou changes his countenance and send him away. What is he talking about? He's talking about regenerating and looking different. You don't look the same. What is his countenance? What is what is he talking about? He's talking about man. Remember what we read before, right? We read that it was even though he's scoping this like the rocks and the water and the trees, that man comes and renews again, man or woman, to the earth. All right. That's why you some people grab this Job 14, they isolate it, but they don't read to it. Right? Anything else, Akim?
Nah.
All right. Well, with that, we want to say Kahala Yahal, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All right. We want to say Shalom, Israel, Shalom.
Shalom.